Welcome to the show, folks. Hey, if you don't know me yet, my name is Mike Asherbrenner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector, proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And this lady should need no introduction, the one and only April Wyatt with Living with Intention. How are you today, my friend?
I am amazing. I can't wait for this powerful panel that we're going to have today.
Yes, ma'am. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm seriously excited. This is the final. This month went way too fast, y'all. So if you're just catching us on this, I'm going to get to it. But tomorrow, celebration for hashtag She Wins March. Don't miss it. So we're going to put the ticker at the bottom of the screen here soon. Is it already there? It is already there. It is already there. My goodness. You're so good. And throughout this month, we talked about all the hot topics, right? All the necessities. We talked about identity, health, and capacity. Tonight, we cap it off. We talk about leverage because scaling doesn't come from doing more. It comes from alignment. We know that. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to go ahead and I want to give shout outs. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, folks, that made this possible. Really made a huge impact, elevating heart-centered, high-level women-owned businesses, organizations, and the like. Promotional partners, Restream media partners, and want to go ahead and give those shout outs. First and foremost, folks, don't miss this. All right. And if you have to miss it, my gosh, I'm so sorry, but it's not too late. Okay. You can go to my profile. You can go to YouTube. We'll put it in the links right after the show. Okay. Hashtag She Wins March. April has more of the details, but being in the right room, that's what we're all about. No performance, no fake networking, showing up, building relationships with people who can and will, and open doors. Okay. So we're going to have giveaways, freebies. We're going to get, it's going to be phenomenal. Some of these panelists are going to be really sharing deeper things with you. So we have a lot of high-level, heart-centered people coming. Hey, show up. If you can make all of it, fantastic. If you can make some, hey, better than none, right? So share this out. It's on my LinkedIn profile, Mike Asherbrenner, Redneck One. It's on the featured section. Also, we'll put it in the comments right after the show, folks. So share this and shout out the Flourish Foundation Project. That's the nonprofit that we're supporting through this campaign. All about youth mental health, wellness, and prevention of self-harm. All right. Fantastic lady with an amazing story. So we'll be spotlighting that. I've had the honor to serve on that as the COO for a year now. And we have an event coming up in Lake Placid with the Olympic Regional Development Authority at the Olympic Training Center in May 24th to the 26th. This is huge. And this ain't just talking about it. This is plugging the kids into something that can help them mentally and physically and put them on the right path, folks. So there we go. Real quick shout outs. I Am Magazine, the men's division. Somebody is going to get on the cover in April. Be looking for this. Thank you, ladies. You have promoted this. You have pushed it. There's Jennifer Thompson. You and Jade, thank you, ladies, so much for all you've done for us throughout the year, much less for this campaign. You have made a huge impact for this, and we all thank you dearly, so much so. They have a great, great culture, and just honored to be in this magazine along with so many hounds. And also, Restream partner, he's in the comments. He was there early, like it's a Grateful Dead concert, y'all. So you get the gold star, Nathan. A great guy, amazing guy. Restream partner, he has done tremendous things, and he is going to be leading up the Hounds Media Network. So folks who want more engagement, realness, relationship building, thank you, Nathan. You're doing it for us, buddy. We appreciate you. Also, here he is, the walking New Testament, as I call him behind the scenes, Russ Hedge. This guy's the most inspiring real deal. He does more Redneck Mike than I do. Like, this guy has wrote the book, literally 2 of them, Vanna White style. And he is an amazing partner. We went to Podfest. We met tons of amazing folks, including Dr. Rowe, who is everybody in the house knows now. And that's where we got 2 of these amazing ladies already here because of Rowe. All right. So this guy, he is amazing. Radio show. You and D. Scott, thank you, brother. Appreciate you streaming this and getting this message out in this whole month. And last but not least, this guy, he is the man. Steve Ramona, top ranked 20 podcast and entrepreneurship. It is an absolute honor to work with you, cross promote, push each other up, brother. Wanted to give you a big, well-deserved shout out. We're almost done, but hey, I got to do it. It's a hound's way. I didn't do all this by myself. Tanya Eberhardt, Michael Carr, Brand Face. Woo-wee, behind the scenes, high-level heart centers and understatement. And they're more country than me. April knows that. That's rare in the hounds. But yes, these folks, thank you so much for sharing this, putting this out there. All you do for people, it is unbelievable. All right. So thank you, ladies, for all you do. Thank you, Michael. Last but not least, this episode is actually brought to you by Beverly Neal Clinton of Healing for Wounds. High level lady, innovators in the space, physicians, hospitals can't get enough of it, caregivers love it. So thank you, Beverly. You are a power player. You are a startup
Yes,
women's
she
business.
is.
And yeah, this one's for you, my friend. We love you and thank you for all you do. Huge impact out here. And last but not least, y'all know that old country song and that saying, right? Behind every good man's a good woman, but we're flipping the script, right? With Greg Moore, franchise maven. This guy, high level heart centered. He'll be at the women's celebration tomorrow. He's going to be giving out some things and ushering the charge for the June campaign, right? We ain't going to spoil it though. So thank you, Greg, for all you do, my friend. We appreciate you and thank you for making this possible. Woo wee. And that's just a fraction of it. So I'll tell you what, how about we go ahead and run the intro video, bring these amazing ladies up, and then just put the major icing on the cake for this whole month. How about that?
Let's do it. Yes, I'm excited for this.
You got it. I'll push the button. You're gonna let
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Ashterbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to the show, ladies. All right. Well, let's start with Jeannie. Jeannie, I met through Kirsten. I always have to pause. Hey, it's not a costume. I have trouble with easy names sometimes. I have other good qualities. But Kirsten, so glad I met you. Then you introduced me to your business partner, Jeannie, and she joined like PB&J in the same jar, right? So we love having you. Give us the intro. Who are you and who do you serve, Jeannie?
Sure. My name is Jeannie Wilson. My company is Six Figure Business Coaching. Kirsten Graham is my business partner. She's also here. And we've worked with hundreds of small business owners. And what we know for sure is that they can make a huge impact when they have the right support. So what we do now is help entrepreneurs grow. We give them tools and support and match them with qualified and trained virtual assistants for things like bookkeeping, video marketing, podcast guesting, all the things, the tasks that they shouldn't be doing. We make sure they've got support, somebody to do that for them.
And you do it so well. And when like I said backstage, when all these tax professionals are done, yeah, we got some talking to do. All right. So can't wait. And then that leads me to the lady with the little doggy in the purse. Y'all can't see yet. Kirsten, welcome to the show. Oh my goodness. If I just met you and Ro at Podfest, I've been good. I just really flew back. But my goodness, I didn't, thank goodness. But go ahead and tell the folks, who are you and who do you serve?
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, it was awesome meeting and hanging out with you at Podfest. So like Jeannie said, I'm her business partner. We own Six Figure Business Coaching. And we always like to say your most valuable asset is your time. And so our goal is really to help business owners buy back their time so that they can focus on things that are going to help them grow their business. And Jeannie's very modest, but what really makes a successful relationship with a virtual assistant is systems, processes, and having solid workflows. And that's what she's so amazing with. So we're actually able to train virtual assistants on our systems and processes and workflows so that our clients get them up and running lightning fast. Because again, if you have to hire someone and spend a lot of time interviewing and vetting them and then training them and creating all the SOPs, it can be a lot. So we do that for all of our clients.
Thank you. And you do that so well. I've already heard good feedback and you are stellar. You're a solutions creator. Oh, I love that. And then, all right, this lady, she writes books. She speaks on the biggest stages. Oh my goodness. What do you not do? Marsha, please, welcome to the show. Please tell us. All right. If you could do it in 30 seconds, your resume is like Tom Brokaw, right? But what is it? What do you do and who do you serve, my friend?
So about 12 years ago, I became an angel investor, having no idea what that was. And I quickly learned that very little funding goes to women and people of color. I did a lot of things. I made a lot of mistakes. I also ran funds. I raised money. I helped entrepreneurs. I talked to a lot of entrepreneurs. And I learned a lot. So I thought, well, wait a minute, maybe I can get more people to not think that this is so daunting. So I started a podcast in 2021. I spoke at TEDx Charlotte in 2022. And then I wrote a book called Do Good While Doing Well that came out in 2024. And I still realized there was a problem with how women feel about money. They won't necessarily invest because they're not sure about where their money is or how things are feeling around money. And sometimes they have their husband or their financial planner do everything that has to do with finances because it's more of a chore. But if they start to align their money with their values, we will start to see some real change. And that's why I wrote my second book, which comes out on Tuesday, the 31st, called Unapologetic Wealth.
Oh, make sure I read that. Okay. Because everybody forgets I'm in finance because I don't talk about it. If people say, why don't you talk about it? Because nobody wanted to hear about it. That's why I don't talk about it. So, but now they do, right? So thank you so much. And you were absolutely right. You know, more people, it's good people, right? To me, it's not about where you came from and all that jazz. If you're a good person, you're trying to do good, you should have access to information and resources to get you there. And then last but not least, my friend, how are you doing, Christina? It is such a pleasure. I finally get to meet you too. This is the first time I got to meet you and Marcia. I'm trying to behave, but it ain't gonna last. So take it away, my friend. Who are you? What do you do? And who do you serve?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for this opportunity to be here with the hounds. This is amazing. I'm Christina Vidovich, a visibility strategist. I am the founder of Women Getting Visible. So I help women founders with confidence and with visibility. So I create conferences for women to speak, whether they've never spoke on the stage before or they've done the biggest stages, to share their voices, share their stories. I also do partnership workshops with women who want to step out in that spotlight but aren't sure how to do that and bring our audiences together. And I'm a 5-time podcaster, so I love the microphone too. So I love sharing stories about women because there's some incredible ladies on this planet and we need to share voices. So yes, that is who I am.
Did I mute myself? I did. I blame Kirsten. It's her fault. I said you shouldn't have said that. Now I'm gonna have you host my show. You should host it now. How about that? Take a vote.
All right, let's go.
You got it. Look at that. Fearless. Absolutely. Ladies, I'm going to start off. I'm going to roll into the talk. The 3 growth levers, right, that change everything: capital, visibility, and systems. So let's, because you ladies you walk the walk, not just talk the talk. That's what we're all about. So let me throw this out there. What's the biggest myth, right, in your experience and opinion, women are told about doing it all yourself? Marcia, let's go with you.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned before, women feel like they have so many things that they have to do. And a lot of times they think, well, I just have to, I have to get it done myself. I can't give it to somebody else or ask somebody else to do it or even ask my husband to do it. But we really need to utilize the resources. There's a lot of strategy involved in thinking about how you can use the resources you have in order to create a life of ease, not one that's so chaotic.
There you go. Hey, at the Hounds, we're like one food bowl and everybody just goes at it. So ladies, chime in. There's no politeness here. I appreciate it. And I love it. Let me go to Christina. What is yours biggest myth women are told about doing it all yourself?
Ooh, well, we already have that. We women want to do it all of ourselves. That's part of our problem, is if there's a problem, we want to step in and fix it. But there is nothing quite like when we say, hey, can you help me? So it's getting that where we can allow ourselves to ask that question for help. So that is one of the things I want to offer is don't think you can do it all yourself. It's okay to ask for help. It doesn't show weakness. It actually shows strength.
Amen. Well, in my house, that's true until a mouse shows up. And then it's all me and the cat. Yeah, they don't want to do that one. But most things, I agree with that, especially my daughter's very strong-willed. And I like that, So, all right. Kirsten, do you want to go?
Sure. So I didn't get that memo when I was younger. My dad used to joke that I should join the military if they'd let me start as a general. This is a pillow my sister-in-law gave me. It says I'm not bossy. I just have better ideas. So delegation was a skill that I think I was kind of born with. But I do think with women, they don't think they're great leaders or managers. And it's just the opposite. Women make fantastic employers. They're awesome leaders. They're awesome managers. And I don't know why they buy into they have to do it all themselves. but we are changing that, and that's exciting. And it's with conversations like this, Mike. So thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And you women are leading. See, you're just not sitting in a coffee shop writing this down, selling books just to make money. You ladies are making it happen, and that people don't see the iceberg effect, right? Right, Jeannie? They're lucky, blah blah blah. No, luck had nothing to do with it. Right? You ladies kept going when everybody else gave up. That's the key. That's the truth. Look at them, not. Yeah, that's okay. Own that. And we're not bragging. What we're doing is saying, hey, there's a lot of folks out there who have a dream and a passion, and they're doubting themselves. And that's a daggum shame, because if they have the people, resources, support, the books, the opportunities you ladies have, then we would have more good dents in this world, right? They would be armed to go out there and do good things that matter. And that's what we're all about here in the Hounds. So Jeannie, take us away. What is your, I can't wait. I see the smile on your face. It's going to be a good answer. What's the biggest myth women are told about doing it all yourself?
Well, I had this issue when I started my business. The biggest myth for me was that doing it all yourself saves you money. And that's just not the case, because what ends up happening is you're trying to do everything. You're not doing anything really well. And then you're not making the money because you're doing tasks that somebody who could be paid a lot less should be doing for you. So, yep, that's mine.
Oh, you must have read me and April were talking about that. I said, I don't want to go to mechanic school to fix my own car. I'd rather pay somebody else to do it, right? And I'm redneck. I duct tape everything, but they only go so far, Marshall. So let's ride off this. I like this discussion, but I'm going to go back around. Marshall, we'll go with you again. At what point did you realize that support wasn't weakness, but rather it was a strategy? It was a strength.
I mean, just like we just heard, if you can do something and have somebody else do it for you, when you're doing it yourself, that's your hourly rate, and you want your hourly rate to be as high as possible. So if you can hire out and have more people doing the things that are kind of mundane tasks, or something that would take you a long time, but you knew that somebody could do just as easily, then I think that that's a sign of weakness, or a sign of strength, not weakness, because they're able to really show, like, I'm going to use the strengths I have to do what I can do best. And that is definitely not a weakness.
No. And when you figure that out for yourself, and then you apply that to your business organization, man, that's leadership, like Fortune 50 leadership. Took me a while, but I figured it out. Better late than never, still figuring it out. But knowing your own strengths and weaknesses and capitalize on them. See, that's why you write books. Keep writing them, because they're got to be good. I'm buying it. All right, let's go over to who's smiling the biggest right now. Christina. She said, "It's to you." I'll repeat it. At what point did you realize that support wasn't a weakness? It was a strength, an opportunity, strategy, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. I will never forget the moment I was flying back home from my mother's house in Cleveland, where I grew up, back here to Washington, D.C., looking down at the houses in each light, and said, wow, what am I doing, and how can I reach each of those people? I can't do this all by myself. So the only way to grow is to get that support and to bring other people into my world who have a similar or same vision of making things better. So that was really a turning moment for me.
Because you said that, it reminded me just the other day. I've only got 24 hours a day, but some people act like they seem like they got 80 hours a day, right? And that's what Marcia was kind of, that's to her point too. Is like, yeah, because I have a big team, I don't have to do it all. Oprah didn't do everything and take the garbage out stuff. I mean, you might have to start there, but you don't want to stay there, right?
Exactly.
And by the way, is it so much more fun to not do it yourself? It's so much fun. Oh my gosh. When you surround yourself with happy professional people, I mean, y'all saw April Wyatt. I mean, dadgummit, I'm fortunate dude. So yes, thank you. Kirsten, we're going to go to you, my friend.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I guess, like I said, I never really saw it as a weakness. So that's something I think separates me a little bit, because I just never thought of delegating or asking for support as a weakness. I always knew that there were certain things I was good at. There were a lot of things that I'm really bad at. And I'm the type of person, I don't want to spend time doing things I don't like to do. But something did happen when I realized that when you delegate to someone, and I'll use bookkeeping as the example, I don't really enjoy bookkeeping. Can I do it? Yes. Do I enjoy it? No. But when you delegate it to someone who that's their unique ability, that's their passion, that's what they love doing, then you look at it from the other side of the coin. When we stop doing the things that we don't enjoy doing or we're not good at, we're freeing up the opportunity for people to do those things where it is their unique ability and their passion. And that really excites me, to know that we can all stay in our own lane, so to speak, and contribute to the world at the highest level, because we're not trying to do everything ourselves.
Yeah, see, you built the whole business to help professionals not do things themselves. So that's why you went third, because I was like, you just, my goodness. And then now we're going to go to your partner. All right, you got to capitalize on that, because you ladies have built a business that makes things affordable and accessible, that people usually think's elusive, or, well, if I do this, it won't be me. And you all fix that. You put the kibosh on it. So what do you think? What point did you realize it wasn't weakness? It was a strength. It was an opportunity.
Yeah, you have to look at all the different tasks that need to be done in your business. And at some point I recognized, with Kirsten's help, of course, because she's amazing. I think, more like most women, whereas she's, the general. But, when you realize not every task in your business has the same value, you could spend hours and hours, researching, learning, doing something. But if you know it needs to get done and you can hire somebody affordable to do it and do it quickly and correctly, then, the real cost is not just your time, but it's also, what are you doing with your time? Why are you doing these tasks with your time when you should be doing the most valuable thing in your business with your time?
Absolutely. I'm not going to mess that up with any redneckisms. Well said. Yes, ma'am. I tell you what, I love this combo. We're going to switch into the levers, right? We're going to start with capital. Marcia, if you don't mind, take the lead on this, my friend. You good?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's go. All right. So what's the biggest misconception women have about accessing capital?
Right. So when women are trying to get access to capital, there are a lot of ways that they can go about doing that. But in some cases, they're looking for investors. And that's kind of where my area of expertise lies, with getting capital from either angel investors or even venture capitalists. And what I found is that it seems like there can be some surface reasons. Maybe people think that women start businesses that are too small, or they aren't aggressive enough in asking for the money. But deep down, the real fundamental problem about why they're not getting access to capital is because there are not enough other women or people who look like the founder who are making the investment decisions, either writing the checks or making the investment decisions at venture capital firms. So when we start to change the people who are writing the checks and who are making the decisions, we will start to change how easy or not so easy it is for women to get access to capital.
Big deal. So is it more of just not enough? Is that one of the major factors I hear you saying?
Yeah, it's definitely part of that. There have been female GPs or fund managers who have tried to raise capital so that they can then go out and invest in other female founders. And in a lot of cases, they're lucky if they can raise $5 or $10 million, which in venture fund world is very small. A lot of these venture capital funds have hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. And it's very, very challenging for women to be able to raise that kind of money. And there's a lot of reasons why, but at the end of the day, for what we're talking about, to get more capital into the hands of female founders, we need to start at the beginning, when they're first starting their businesses and when they're looking for pass their friends and family around, and they've now made some progress, and they've shown that whatever they're working on, it works, and that people want to buy it. That's when we need to get more angels involved and have those people be women, people of color, so that more capital flows into the marketplace, so that there can be more capital for entrepreneurs, but that there's definitely more for women and people of color founders too.
And ladies on the panel, feel free to chime in if you want to. Don't feel like you have to, but feel free if you want to chime in and add your 2 cents, please do it. All right. So let me ask you this: how does either the wealth mindset or other factors, right? Because I'm learning, I don't know. I'm just, don't invoice me for your wealth of knowledge, but how does wealth mindset or other factors influence who gets funded?
Yeah, so I think in a lot of cases, we've got women who are not necessarily the ones in the position to write checks, so they're not making the investment decisions. And then there are women who are trying to pitch for the dollars that are out there. And there are unconscious biases out there, and there's been a lot of studies done on how people make decisions. And in a lot of cases, if they saw a male founder pitch and a female founder pitch, there's an unconscious bias in both men and women that the male founder is actually has like a better, it could be the exact same company, the exact same numbers, but it will come across in our unconscious bias. So in order to counteract that, the female founder actually has to start answering the questions in a different way. So for example, if a question is asked to a male founder and a female founder, something like, what are your revenues going to be? The question might be asked to the male founder of, what are your revenues going to be? And the female founder might get the question, well, how are you going to mitigate losing money for your company? It's relatively the same question. You're still like talking about how much money the company is going to make. But in one case, there's a proactive question. In another case, there's a reactive question. So what founders can do is they can start to actually change their answers to be more from a pro standpoint as instead of reactive.
Okay, I'm not going to take this in the left field, but I can, not that I need to, but I have experienced that. I have worked with some entities that were women led, and I sensed that. I thought it was maybe a one-off. I mean, it's a very 1800s mentality, to be honest, but it does happen, and it's scientifically backed. It's not a bias. And it was interesting we saw this. And so what happened was I said, just let me do this and then position you for that. And that's unfortunate because the God's honest truth, she should have just been able to go in there and do her daggum thing and get funded.
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, so if you don't have a redneck in your pocket, then, you know, this is an important discussion because that's sad because it should be mission-based, should be character-based, right? It should be on the parameters. And there is still bias that creep up. And this is a reason that we're doing this, right? Because there's a lot of guys out there who do want to support, right? And people who just want to level up in general. It's not a gender issue. But this is something that is kind of shocking to me, even though I grew up in the South. I mean, I talk to most people that's not in my neighborhood now. I mean, I'm online, right? So I'm the most cultured redneck on the planet, but it's still, it is serious. And thank you for being so, you know, real about that. The research backs this, you know, you're not being negative. You're just saying, listen, that's a daggum shame and I'm doing something about it. And hats off to you for that. All you ladies doing that. So let me wrap up this last question on this until we move to lever 2, because this is, thank you for being so thoughtful here, because this is a real deal. What separates fundable founders from hopeful founders? So in other words, if you're trying to position yourself really well, what are some things that you really need to do foundational, not to go in there and hope you get it? So what's the difference?
Yeah, the biggest difference is, like, I can say it in one word and then I'll explain. It's scalability. So if a company is something that is solving a really sticky, really horrible problem and everybody's like, oh, I hate this and I really want a better solution. If that kind of problem is being solved and it can be scalable, meaning that there will be a lot of people that want the solution, that right there is a good recipe for the beginning of a fundable company. Hopeful is when you have a solution that's in search of a problem. Oh, I have this great thing. Look at what I made. It's so incredible. But is it really solving a big problem, or are people already solving the problem in a different way? And if they are, they don't like change. People don't want to change their this, that, and the other thing. They usually have to see something, even to like change their toothpaste. They'd have to see it like 4, 5, 10 ads before they would actually do it. Right. So this is the difference between what would actually be fundable versus not fundable. And the other thing I'll say for the entrepreneurs that are listening is sometimes going out to raise money is not necessarily the best thing to do, especially at the beginning. You really want to prove traction. And nowadays, there are a lot of ways that you can do that without necessarily, A, having to raise money, which is painful, but B, not having to give away any equity in your company yet. And in a lot of cases, crowdfunding in all kinds of ways, equity crowdfunding, revenue-based crowdfunding, or even rewards-based crowdfunding can really help a company prove their product and actually prove that they have customers and the customers will pay for their product.
Absolutely. It's the scale. Well, I love what you say, because I've seen nonprofits do this a lot, where they're like, well, I do something unique. Yeah, but there's 10,000 other organizations that do similar work. And it's not saying you're not special, but it's your job to make sure you do have a unique, difference, a differentiator, and you clarify that well. I've seen that. And so, I'm so glad you're doing this work, because I see it, but it's not my work. I'm so glad you're out here doing this stuff. We'll make sure folks get your links, and don't be shy to tell them when we close how they can go find this, because it's sad. I've even seen it at Podfest. So many people talking about grants and funding. And again, it was very skewed to women having the short end of the stick, and that's ridiculous. But we're doing something about it. So let's turn our attention to the visibility. We're going to bring Christina up to lead this discussion. And we're going to tie it back, because these things we talk about them as silos, but man, they work together like an orchestra when you do them well, right? So, Christina, all right, I got to ask, I've been dying to ask this one. Why do so many brilliant, amazing women with solutions stay invisible? What's the number one?
Number one, fear. Fear of stepping up, fear of the camera, fear of perfection, fear of spotlight. But visibility isn't just the outside, it's also the inside. So as children, we're already being told, sit still, be quiet, don't move. And these little things that get ingrained in us from a young age that we carry through our lives, sitting in classrooms for years, through college, stay quiet until you raise your hand, so wait till you're called on. And it's all of this programming that we've been given until we finally break through and give ourselves permission to say, it is time to be visible. I am in my genius. I understand how the world works so much better now, and I'm tired of being quiet. So it's really that breaking through those moments and getting to the next level to say, you know what? I'm here. I'm in the room.
Absolutely. And with my daughters, I've already seen it. I had to get called into a parent-teacher conference, which usually doesn't happen. So if my wife brings me in, I already know it's not good. Right? I don't bring. And so I just told him, I said, before we start this, I just want to let you know, Einstein was a C average student. At least that's what I heard. And the way her brain works, she's probably going to create companies that people work in. And in other words, yeah, she needs to read and learn, but don't you be trying to get her to conform to some 1920s assembly line that, yeah. And that whole conversation went right there. Yeah, I'm a fierce advocate because I have daughters. I like them. So, but I see this as a community leader as well. And it's a daggum shame, because again, it's not just gender neutral, or it's not a gender. I did the same thing. I mean, Supermom came to my rescue. That's why I love her so much. Lachelle Atkins, American Supermom. When I put my head on, had the courage to go out there, I got knocked out. I mean, it was a traumatic experience on a live stream. I was going to be done. And that happens to a lot, especially ladies, right? And they put the courage out there and then boom, get hammered. But you know what? I did it again, and Supermom made me look good, feel good. And, so she gets the credit or blame for what you see today, right? But that's the point, right? And that's why I love having the right room. That's why we have these discussions in communities, because one person gets knocked down and then they don't get back up. And that's a dadgum shame. So I love what you said there. And I see the ladies nodding. If you want to chime in, cut me off, because you can. I know you ladies have been here in all these wheelhouses. Go ahead. No, it's the quietest panel. This is man. All right. No, I love it. They just so good. Let me go, because I'm gonna get them triggered. You watch. All right. So what's the difference, the biggest difference between being seen and being strategically positioned? Because boy, when people do have the courage, it's a night and day difference, right? Being seen and then being positioned well.
Is this my question?
No, it's still Christina.
Oh, okay. Because I think I'm in the big square. There you go.
Hey, you're getting visible, Jamie. You're getting visible.
I didn't touch the button.
It's all you, Christina.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's interesting because, again, one of the things when we think about being seen, we think about influencers, the people who've gotten out there and like, oh, what do they do? What do they do? How do they get there? But the strategically positioned is intentional planning and clarity, knowing the message that you want to get out there. When you figure that out of like, who am I really? What is my purpose? And who are the people I want to reach? That is the beginning of the visibility journey. And knowing who you want to be in the room with. So it's the alignment. People start to come to you when you have that clarity of message, and you start finding yourselves in those rooms. So that is my biggest piece of advice too, is like, slow down, get clear with yourself, because that is the beginning of your visibility journey.
Hounds, you all hearing this? This ain't coming from me. These are coming from professionals that have done this beyond my belief. So thank you for sharing that. They hear me say it, they're like, maybe. But then you say it, it's like, yes, absolutely. I'm joking. April, stop frowning at me. So that is the, if you want to go out there and just be famous, go ahead. But if you're building a business, you have to think, just like you said, right? Authority, right? It's a long-term game, not just, let me make some quick cash on social media, right? You ladies are talking about building legacies, long-lasting impact, massive difference. Thank you for clarifying that. And maybe the last question until I turn it back, because I want to ask ladies and Marcia on the last one. But so on that note, how does and how can visibility accelerate authority? What are some key tips and things that you've learned that people can maybe put in practice now, mindset-wise, to really start building authority, not just visibility randomly?
Yeah, so it's, again, being clear with your message, your offering, your alignment, because again, those right people will start to come in your space, and then you become top of mind. Because who are you going to refer to? That person who's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what she is, what she's offering, and who she wants. So now I have the opportunity to be that, just like you, Mike, super connector with the people in my space. And then we elevate each other.
Me and April was talking about this today. I said, I don't want to be an influencer, because to me, I'm at the age where it just sounds like kid stuff, and I'm not knocking it. It's just, like, I don't know. Marcia's like, hey, let me meet an influencer, right? She wants to meet better, would be a key person of influence, right? Like, oh, hey, you do your thing, but then you have this big repertoire of people and opportunities you can make introductions to. It's amazing. Like, I saw somebody in the house go on a show, and then they blew up the comments with engagement. That you don't have to say anything. That's not common, right? So this kind of, pushing each other up principle goes way better. Then you don't have to sell and all that weirdness. Let me go back. Ladies, I'll open this up to you, but I got to leave with Marcia. Marcia, how does visibility increase capital access? Like, does it play? Does it help?
I think it does help. And in a lot of ways, it has to be the visibility of the integrity of the company and the integrity of the product. So if you really have a product, again, back to that stickiness that people really want, that visibility is going to rise up, and people will say, hey, I want that. And I've heard this person talking about it, and I heard this person talking about it. So sometimes just having the founder kind of like toot their own horn might not be the greatest way, but visibility can come in a lot of different packages. And so if that visibility can be because other customers are telling other people, well, now all of a sudden investors would be like, it seems like this is really a product that people want. And then your access to capital starts to change.
You're looking at the worst. If I toot my own horn, it was awful for years. No. Like, I wish I'd known you then. Saved me a lot of trouble. But you're right. Like, when I went out there and said, I'm great, people were like, go away. But then when I started investing in other people, right, pushing up other people, they went out and shared me. I didn't have to say anything. It was amazing. It was because they expect advertising, right, Marcia? Oh, did we lose Marcia? Oh, no. Did the aliens get her? What happened?
She'll pop back in. It'll be magic.
Yeah, it will. But I can't remember what I was saying. I just like, I'm talking to myself. Yeah, it happens. Live stream. The joy's up. But what was I saying? Let's move on. It's been a heck of a time. But seriously, pushing each other up. What they didn't expect was other people of all walks of life, of all different industries, to say you're great. Because Kirsten, people, you won't manufacture that at the corner store. Nobody's gonna. Christina and all you ladies know this. No one's gonna say, "Hey, Kirsten is great. Oh my goodness, you got to meet Kirsten. Let me put Kirsten on the show." Blah blah blah. If that ain't true, like, none of us are crazy enough to ruin the reputation that took years upon years to build. There she is.
I got booted off. I was so excited because I was looking at the comments in the chat, and somebody had been talking about perfectionism, and I was like, oh, we have to add that to the conversation, because sometimes people don't get the visibility because they think, wait, I don't want to put the post up. until it's perfect. I don't want to do this until it's perfect. I don't want to tell anybody that I'm working on this thing, because until it's perfect, I'm not going to let anybody know about it. And then time goes by and more time goes by. And then I booted myself right off the thing.
No, well, in the hounds, I mean, Jeannie's been here long enough to know a couple of weeks that we just throw it out there. Hey, I got this thing and it's all crusty, but that's how you get it fixed, because nobody's judging you. It's like, who wasn't, not dialed in? Who wasn't a little bit, but other people see it. In fact, I've had ideas I thought was terrible. And then somebody like April Wyatt will come along. That's not terrible. You just need to clean it up, and fix it up. And it's amazing. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad you came back. I was going to cry if you left on purpose.
No. I was like, oh, look at that comment. Boom.
Yeah, that's the joy of live stream, isn't it?
That's right.
Well, ladies, if you want to chime in on this, because I'm going to go to systems with Kirsten and Jeannie. But was anybody like to add anything from the visibility chain or the capital? Like your experiences, other folks? Go ahead. If not.
Yeah, back to what you just said is, if we wait, no one's going to hear our message, and nobody's going to be there to help cheer us on and push us forward and propel us. Because it's like you tell the story and you're like, oh, wow, it's kind of that self-satisfaction, pat yourself on your own back, and somebody else comes along and does it too. And you're like, oh, I'm doing okay. And so you get that reassurance, and then you get more excited to go to the next thing and start sharing more and more, because you realize what you're doing, people need. And it's just, there's no one else but you. You've got to be your first cheerleader, and then you'll start to hear the support is all around. You just have to make that first step.
And I think the key is leading with heart, meaning let your desire to serve and help other people help you overcome that fear, right? Because fear is never going to go away. But if you can focus on, if I help just one person, that's what we always think when we do a podcast interview or a video. If this video helps one person, we win. Right? Like that's what matters. And if you go into it with that intention, I think it changes everything.
Realistic expectations. Yeah. And also, like I say, courage. I mean, it's amazing how many people, and again, especially ladies with new startups, even scale ups or pivoting, when they're starting something new, it's scary. I don't know how many times myself or someone else would just give them a compliment, sincere, that looks great. Could you help with that? I know someone who could help you with that. That made the night and day difference. I mean, we've seen people that just, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Now they're piggybacking and incorporating on major established websites and organizations. Why? Because I saw value and sent them to somebody who knows what they're doing or something, and that's what I want people to know. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not perfect yet. Well, that's right. Why, because people will crap on your dreams. People will knock you down. You got to get back up and find a Marsha or a Jeannie, right? Like that's my whole thing. That's why we do this, because, well, that person said it sucks, so it must suck. Oh, get out of here. Now, if 1,000 people who know their subject matter tells you need to change it, you probably need to do it. But there's so many missed opportunities. And that's why the world's not getting better, because people like us who are willing to take the hits, who are willing to go through the hell it takes to do this, aren't doing it. Not because they don't want to, because they ran out of money, time, and heart. And it's sad. So thank you, ladies, for the real talk. All right.
Hey, Mike, I just want to comment here.
Sure.
I really like these. I got to meet her, Shine, in the comments. She's talking about how she uses the Hounds of Business ecosystem to test her ideas so that she doesn't have to feel the pressure of being perfect. At least I think Shine's a girl. Sorry.
It is Amy. That's Amy. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. But I love that idea. You should be able to have at least I call it my choir. It's the people who kind of know me and know some of the things I talk about. And then sometimes I'll test things with them. And I love this. This is perfect. That's exactly what people should be doing, because you can't just say, oh, it'll be perfect when it comes. Then what happens when it comes out and people don't think it's perfect?
Right.
Well, perfect doesn't exist.
That's exactly
But
right.
that's the hard part, is we keep talking about making something perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect person, a perfect house, a perfect product, perfect marketing. Nothing is perfect. And I think when we can accept that, it can change our attitude about everything.
100%.
Well, and also, if somebody has, and we talked about this on this new podcast coming up, spoiler alert, but me and Bruce talked about this, being nice and kind. Right. So if somebody has something that's not right, we don't just, oh, that's good, and let them go look silly. Right. But we'll tell them in love. April Wyatt is the best at this. right? She'll say stuff and I'm like, oh, like I'm glad she tells me, because I don't want her to, if I'm doing something to take away from the mission, I need to know that. And it can be very difficult to say that because you don't want to be unkind. But you don't have to do that. That's what Shine's like, listen, I'll never be blamed for being goofy. She can come in here and share it, and more than likely something will happen. So, and you don't have to be just in the house, and find whatever. Find anywhere you can go. You
right.
just need to play. That's why we're doing Women's Month. Collaboration. Supermom's got a community for that, right? We all do different stuff, but we're all pushing you up. Nobody's going to come in here and crap on your parade. Not in my bag. You got the whole world to do that. But we are going to enable and push and empower people that want to be somebody to do something special. So, all right, look. Amy's smiling ear to ear. She is. I'll connect you. I would love to. All right. So let's move to systems, because now once you got the money and the capital and visibility and these things, you put the horse before the cart, right? Things are moving in order, right? Now the systems. Woo! I am the poster child of what not to do. Right? Like I just kind of kept doing I'm going to run Amazon by myself. That was my mentality. Oh goodness. So I'm just going to let you two fight over who wants to answer it, because that's going to be entertainment. But what breaks first when founders try to scale without systems? Oh God, I could spoil this one. But
Pretty much everything.
yes, absolutely, it does. Elaborate.
Yeah, well, when you see businesses that have been working on their success and they focus so much on bringing in more business, but when the business takes off, everything can fall apart if you don't have systems, because you're gonna at some point need help. You can't handle all of that workload. That could be finances, client work, following up with prospects. At some point things are going to collapse. So you've got to have systems in place. So all the steps that things need to go through to be successful, but so that you could also have someone come on and help you, and they know all the steps to follow as well.
Kirsten, let's go to you, because here's the thing. For me, and I would love both your ladies' input, all of your ladies' input, because it's like, well, look, you're successful. Why didn't you do the next obvious step? Put in process, hire people, automate. And the God's honest truth is, I didn't think I was going to make it. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, Marcia, I thought I was alone. I like, well,
right.
But you know what? Everybody else just better hiding that shit than we are, because the God's honest truth, I should not have hit it. And that's what caused the delay. So is that something, Kirsten, because you see this a lot? Do people come to you, ladies, and after they're so frustrated, they wasted money, they beat their head against the wall? Mm-hmm. Is it a proactive thing, or is it kind of like, oh God, nothing else worked, I'm going to come to you? Or do you see a hybrid?
Well, I really think, we talk about all the hats that business owners wear. And one of those hats is creating SOPs, standard operating procedures and workflows. Did any of you guys take that class in high school or college? I mean, did you sign up for that class?
No.
Yeah, most of us didn't. So we hear SOPs, we hear about it, but we don't necessarily understand exactly what they are, or more importantly, how to create them. And like Jeannie said, I think at the beginning, we're so busy just trying to get our offer lined up in our marketing. And then we start getting clients, and then you're focused on making sure they're happy. And the next thing you know, you get so busy that, it just comes to a screeching halt. Or we hear all the time about burnout, right? It's about burning out. And that's something we all want to avoid. I love the concept that if you have to do something multiple times, and if it has, if you do it more than 3 times and it has more than 3 steps, you should document it. So when you think about a system, it's simply documenting what you're doing. Just think of it as a checklist. This is how I do this, and create a checklist. Because when you bring someone else on and you've documented all the things that you're doing with checklist, you can hand that off to them and say, this is what I do. This is how I do it. I mean, that's very basic, but it's so important. But Mike, I think most of us are very much like you. At the beginning, when you start a business, you're not thinking about it's going to take off, or it's going to be successful, or anything like that's going to happen. And there's so many things that come before the importance of systems.
Hell yeah, I was just happy to pay the bills month to month. Let's get honest. I mean, People say it's like, get your business. Most of the time you get thrusted into this, right? You watched a Tony Robbins video and now you're doing it. Let's be real. I'm not saying you should do that. Trust me, don't. But it happens, right? Like, and when it happens, you're committed and you're not armed for it. So before I get into it, how much of this, so once somebody says, yes, I need to automate, I want to do this, I am successful. So they go from survive to thrive, right? How do I build a business without having to be there all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And so what is the concern at that point, ladies? Is it more of I'm going to lose my heart, my message? I'm not going to be as interpersonal with my clients, or those kind of fears that hesitate? Is that what keep like AI is going to keep take away my personal touch? Because I couldn't imagine what AI can replace you, ladies. I mean, I'm not saying that to be flattering. I mean that I don't want to talk to your AI too. I want to know you first. So is that a real fear? Is that holding people back?
When it comes to creating systems and things like automations, again, I think it goes back to just not knowing quite where to start for a lot of people. And so I think that's what causes pause. We see it a lot, especially when it comes to outsourcing. People get to the point where they're so swamped, they're so busy, they're barely able to breathe. So they go, okay, I'm going to hire someone. That's the worst time to hire because you're desperate, which means you're going to interview quickly. You're going to hire the wrong person. You're going to bring them on, and then you're not going to have the systems and processes and the ability to onboard and train them because you're already, reaching for oxygen because you're so busy. So it's really important to think about in your business how to be prepared for the next step. And that means thinking about, as I get busier, I need to start putting these things in place. And it's not one and done. When you go from 0 to 100,000, it's certain systems. When you go from 100 to 250,000, you need different systems and processes and people. So it's not something that we get to just do once and be done with. And with AI, everything's evolving. So it's important to understand that we need to look at our systems, processes, and automation and how we use AI to continue to evolve. And I think that's one of the things that at every level in your business, you have different challenges. But at every level, the systems, the processes, and the automation and the right people can allow you to even go to the next level after that.
Absolutely. And I heard you ladies, it was Christina, I believe, it said fear, right? At the beginning of the show, fear really stops a lot. And I remember a very accomplished lady, right? And she was a licensed professional. She started her own business. And I told her a story because I knew if I told her what to do, I probably, wasn't going to be the best tool. And I said, but I'll tell her a story because she's an attorney. And I talked to her, I said, could you imagine the high-powered CEO lady? She gets out of her office, she answers the customer service phones for a little while, then she goes, takes out the garbage. And she was like, that sounds ridiculous. I'm like, it does. And then she was like, oh, that's me. I'm like, it is. And so then the next step is to send them to you folks. Because, and that's what I love to do. When people sit down, I'm not trying to sell them. I'm trying to figure out what is keeping you from greatness and who the hell can fix this. That's it. If it's me, fantastic. I have kids to feed. If it's not, we need to plug you where you need to go. And you built a whole system on this. So on that, here's what I found was remarkable, affordable and accessible. But you ladies have really took it to the next level, at least as far as I've saw, with specialized virtual assistants, right? People that have skill sets and that. So why was that? How did that come up, right? Because you ladies do this in a way that I haven't seen so well. I've had people that tried this and it failed miserably. But how is it that specialized VAs multiply the impact so well?
Right. Well, in order to hire and train the right person, we need to be able to train them on a system and a process. Mm-hmm. So if somebody says, I just want to hire someone to take care of my admin, like, what does that mean? Like all of us could have different ideas of what admin tasks are. We could all want it done differently. And, and so it's figuring out how do we create systems and processes and then bring on incredible virtual assistants, train them on those systems and processes so that the client can then use the virtual assistant along with the systems and processes and be successful immediately. Jeannie's background is marketing and my background is mortgage and real estate. So when we first started doing this, everything was around marketing. So for example, if you want to start a podcast, we can give you all the information you need to start that podcast and all the tools that you need to be successful. But then we can actually hire and train a virtual assistant for video editing, audio editing, the graphic design, social media, YouTube's best practices, SEO. And we can do that because we already had a system in place for us. So once that system's dialed in and our virtual assistant does a great job, then it's very easy for us to duplicate that. And that was really how it started is, once we figured out this worked great with our VA, then we could hire and bring on virtual assistants for that role. Same thing with getting booked as a guest on podcast. My virtual assistant booked me on 43 podcasts last year, and I pay her $250 a month. But it's a system and a process that she follows week after week. And so, again, hiring help doesn't do you any good if it eats up your time. So I would say very seldom do I even have to reply to an email from Bea, the person who books me on podcasts, because the system's so dialed in, she knows her job so well. Every now and then she might reach out and say, hey, because I don't usually do interviews on Friday. She might reach out and say, hey, this podcast you want to be on, but they only do Fridays. Will you do it? And so, but then she always puts in the notes, you agreed to do this podcast on Friday, to remind me that she asked me, right? So pairing people with just a virtual assistant is often going to fail. But if we can pair them with systems and processes and workflows, because we lead people, we manage tasks. You manage tasks through systems and processes and workflows.
I'm very humbled on this show because I'm the poster child for all the stuff you ladies are saying. Oh, don't do that. I'm like, you know, but I'm glad I made it. But I don't want other people to follow my mistakes. I'm so glad you ladies are like, do this. And let me give my seal of endorsement. Please listen to these ladies. It's a nightmare. It really is, because it's hard enough. I mean, just to make it at all is an accomplishment. But then it's interesting. It's like, well, when I get this, I'll be okay. No, you're going to have new challenges that are going to be harder. Right. Like we said it before, Warren Buffett has money problems. So do we. Right, Marcia?
That's
right. The difference is he makes so much. His problem is he's trying to pay less in taxes, and we're trying to have his problem. You're always going to have challenges. Get over it.
Hey, if I can add to what I love the framing that they just gave us on using AI, because everybody's like AI everything nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, when we're looking at potential startups to invest in, if investors are looking at that and people are saying, I have an AI company and you should invest in me because or AI. Yeah, but what does that mean? What is it that you're actually, what is the problem you're solving? I'm going back to what I said earlier. Like, what is the big problem, the sticky, awful problem that you're solving? That's what you still need to be evaluating. Mm-hmm. So it's just like what we were talking about with a virtual assistant. They have to follow the process. They have to be able to solve the problems. It's the same thing. So like AI can be helpful, but it isn't always going to be like, it's not going to just take over. We really have to be thinking strategically. I think this is where the strategy really starts to come in. And, from a capital raising standpoint, you can take that whole thought process of everything that we just heard about the VA thing. And I think everybody needs a VA, and everybody should come and find you guys and get their VAs from you. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah. The way that you have the systems down. I was like, I'm thinking I have a VA and I'm not that buttoned up. Wow. So well, I love it.
I spent more time telling the VA what to do.
Yeah,
I was like, I could just do it myself and save money.
We hear that all the time. I hired someone, it was more work than it's worth. And it is, because you didn't hire strategically. You didn't hire with a plan in place.
You didn't have a Kirsten to do all that background work that you don't even know how to do or have the time to do. All right. So I tell you what, ladies, because this is the whole point of the show. I want to respect your time and what, but I want to get this, the strategic collaboration, getting things done through others. That you ladies have done this like an art form. So about within 30 seconds, I'm going to throw it out there. Let's answer it out. And then we're going to make sure that the hounds and all the audience knows how to tap into what you do, because they know your heart. They know your brilliance. They're struggling with this. They want the resources. They want the solutions and help. So Marcia, we got her up. We'll go with you.
Okay.
What makes a collaboration scale instead of stall? What are the key things that comes to mind? What makes it work than stall out?
So I really think when you're talking about collaboration, in a lot of cases with businesses, you're talking about co-founders or multiple founders, right? And a lot of times nobody's quite sure who's doing what. So back to what we were just talking about SOPs, right? Everybody needs to know. I've seen too many companies actually go down in a bottle of flames because they haven't outlined exactly what each person is doing and what that means in relationship to the equity that's being divided. Like, oh, there's 3 co-founders, 33% to this for 30. No, It's not equal. It's never equal. And you guys everybody has to have that conversation early on, or else it's not going to work out.
You got there. I'm a part of one thing, and they were like 3.5. I said, good to me. And everybody's like, what? I said, but I understand business. Y'all just trying to be either you don't get it or you're loan sharking over here. I don't like either one of them. So thank you. I love make sure we get the link to the book. Seriously, I'm not saying I can't wait. All right, I really can't. I'm going to pass that out like hotcakes. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's going to go like a Denny's restaurant menu in the South. I'm telling you, it's going to go. All right. So ladies, Christina.
Yeah.
It is from your lens, because I love how you ladies address this from different angles. So with the visibility, me and you have a lot of similarities. What makes a collaboration scale instead of stall?
Yeah, I what I like about this question is When I think of collaboration, I think of partnership, true partnership, so that there's equals in what we're doing. So everybody, it's the we mentality, not the me mentality. Because when I've gotten into collaboration situations, it's been with me mentality. But when I say, you know what, let's be clear, this is a partnership, it's a we, how can we elevate each other? So that is my big, yes, let's talk partnership beyond collaboration.
I love that. I was on the phone with a high level lady the other day, and I said, listen, I'm not your lead gen dude. I'm not your order taker. We come at this as partnership. I didn't know you're going to throw a party on that. Like, that must not be said a lot. And I mean it. Like, this is it. We walk together. We handle things. You know, this is how we do it. And I love that. And that's apparently there's a need for that. So spot on, my friend. Kirsten and Jeannie. All right. You ladies build a whole business on this. So what makes a collaboration scale instead of stall? What's some keys?
I would say clarity, first of all, so that you all know what the goal is and how you're heading that way. But also complementary strengths. The best collaborations work when everybody kind of knows their role and knows their lane. That's kind of what Marsha was talking about. Because if you have, both people are great and they're doing the same things, now you're going to have friction instead of momentum.
Yes.
So it really, and that works perfectly, especially for Kirsten and I, because she's the big strategic thinker and I'm the systems person, and we both love it. We love what we do.
Wait a minute, you all pulled that from The Office. I watched The Office reruns. Remember when they had Michael and big picture, day to day. Oh my gosh, that's you ladies. Look.
But I mean, it also holds true for the boss and the VA. The boss is the strategic thinker. They're the planner. They're the momentum makers, but they need that person who's going to do those step by step to get the boss where you need to go.
There you go. I'm gonna make this a lightning round. We got three more questions. Answer is rapid fire as you can, ladies. And I'm gonna go to Christina. We'll pick on her. We'll let her go first. So, first of all, real quick, I have to ask the follow up. What red flag signals can you see? Like, are there red flags that signal misalignment early so people can avoid nightmares of that?
I found. Yeah, it's when you're in those meetings and talking to other people in that stepping up piece, who isn't stepping up to say, oh, let me take part of this, versus the person who's sitting quietly back and just waiting to be told what to do, who's not really into the game. Maybe they didn't understand, but they're not asking questions. So it's the one who's kind of silent is the one that kind of puts me in that red flag moment of going, let's find out what's going on. So ask the questions. Let's volunteer our time and who we have and what we are doing together. Yeah.
Brilliant. From your lens, Marsha, is it a little bit different? What is that red flags that kind of pop up sometimes?
So here's how I find red flags. Okay. When you have a group of people who are working in a company, get them to introduce each other. Instead of saying, hey, what do you do in the company? Have like the CEO introduce the COO, the COO introduces the VP of finance, like have them introduce each other so that you know how well they know each other. Because if they don't know each other that well, guess what? They might not stay together that long. And then you're investing in a company that's going down a ball of flames.
That's brilliant. I wrote that down. I'll give you credit though, because that was brilliant. Ladies, Kirsten, red flags.
I think lack of communication is really a big red flag, but I also think we have to take into consideration that we have different cultural styles of communication. So you always have to think about that, especially when you're outsourcing, but also making sure that if you're a person who really jumps in 110%, that you ask that other person. For example, Jeannie and I'm more likely to jump quickly and answer things where she tends to hold back. It doesn't mean my answer will be better than hers. It just means I tend to jump faster. And so being able to sit back sometimes and give that other person, take that pause to let that other person talk. Because sometimes people, again, are just a little more shy or just not as quick to pull the trigger, so to speak. And communication is not always about talking. I think it's mostly about listening. And so listening is a huge skill that I think is lacking in our culture. And so listening is so important to how we deal with our team and our clients, because people want to feel heard.
Absolutely. And I love how you ladies said this, because What you ladies did was go get Bert and Ernie. Like, like look at me in April. It's great. It's like, well, now everybody's going to relate to me. I have different strengths. She does, and we complement very well, like you ladies complement.
Mhm.
So I love that. It's like, well, I don't have this or that, or I could use this or that. Well, then go find an April, or somebody that can compliment you. Go find a Jeannie. I love that. Absolutely. You don't have to. Like, I met somebody the other day. I ain't gonna say who, but I said, I know what the problem is here. That face, you need someone who can smile and make people feel welcome, like a restaurant. You don't want somebody, you're the guy that they hire for the hard work, but that's not what's going to draw people in. And it was just one of those things. I said, you just get someone who smiles a lot, you're good. You're going to make another $100,000 this month. Easy, hard lesson, but it goes with the JV talk, right? Stop trying to waste time on building up your weaknesses. Go find you a Christina or a Marsha who's got the strength already. Make cookies and milk relationships, right, ladies? All right, all right, I know I'm going to keep you here till midnight. Nobody wants to do that. So let's see. We got, let me skip to this one. What role does ecosystems, trust first partnerships, right? Being in the right rooms, getting natural organic people to go, wow, I know, like, and trust you, and I also have interest in what you do. So what role does that play in this year? How is it very significant? Is it something that should be a priority, especially for professional women to kind of accelerate? What's your take on that? Does ecosystems matter as a growth strategy, partnerships?
Absolutely. You've got to be in the right rooms to play with the right people, right? And to go where you want to go. And I think when we start thinking about collaboration instead of competition, and we start seeing other people, as valuable resources, or, Jeannie and I keep a running list of people that we can refer our clients to. In fact, Marsha, I'm going to reach out to you after this because
I was thinking the same thing.
I want to connect you with, because I think, like, you guys could have a good connection there. But I think it's imperative that we are in rooms with people that we know, like, and trust, and that we are willing. And here's what I think is interesting, because I used to teach networking. And one of the things we always talked about is if you've had a great relationship with someone and something goes awry, maybe they didn't call a client, you referred to them, or whatever that was, you should have a good enough relationship that you could go to them without judgment and say, hey, Christine, I referred you that person, and you didn't get back to them. Is everything okay? I want to assume that something's wrong. And she might say, oh my gosh, my grandmother just passed away. Or, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I saw that email come in and I just totally forgot to get back with them. So I think having grace and patience and not prejudging a situation, because that's how we can really build real trust and real relationships and have an ecosystem that works even in hard times. Well
said. And you say from experience. That's because a lot of people just say because it's good marketing and content. You ladies have been there, right? I love that. Anybody else want to chime in on that
I'll just add, know your ecosystem. Know who's in your ecosystem. Like, sometimes people are like, oh, this is my ecosystem, but they've got like half of it or a quarter of it. And you're like, no, they're like, it's bigger. You really do need to like figure out like everybody who's in it and start. If I could give one piece of advice, I say this to entrepreneurs all the time, and this could be any level entrepreneur. You need to build relationships with people before you actually need them to help you, whatever that help is. If you start to build the relationships early, then you can ask them for something. But I can't tell you how many people send me messages on LinkedIn that literally say, I need $50,000. And I'm like, are you completely serious right now? It's ridiculous. They treat you like a human ATM when they know you're an investor. I'm like, no, I'm not investing right now because we need liquidity and I'm broke.
But shoot, my message said, can you give me $1 million? Dang it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, well, who's got $1 billion? Go ahead.
Let's go big. Go big or go home.
That crazy cage fighter that mentored me and started all this, he told me the same thing. First thing he said to me was, Mike, he said, when is the best time to make friends with a plumber? On the holiday weekend when your pipes bust, or 2 years beforehand? Oh, that's right. Spot on. And that's the key. It's not that you're doing it because of that, but there's so many people who are out there who prefer to build through people. They have to. They're not selling trinkets on Amazon. You may not need the relationship, but in this sector, you need relationships. It's human capital.
And right? I want to add to that too, is also giving to other people, right? When you start giving, anytime you see an opportunity to help someone, if you can jump in and do that, even if it's a really short, quick email of an introduction. So the more people you help, the more likely you are to have help when you need it. And I think that sometimes we forget that whole giver's gain philosophy is the more you give, the more you're going to gain, but you give without the expectation. So you give with an open heart and a desire to truly help other people.
That's right. And if you do have an expectation, get a daggum agreement signed, and there you go. Or, say it. But if you do a gift, be a gift. I mean, and that's how I think, me, you, and Ro really connected. Because my MO and my mindset was don't want anything. Because there's so many times where you're talking to somebody, but what are they really thinking? Well, once we get to this point of the relationship, I can ask for no. Like, especially somebody like Dr. Rowe, man, she's gonna sniff that out. I mean, she's an expert in psychology, right? I was just like, just enjoy being around the lady, just have a conversation, talk. Kirsten and I and Rowe got to speak. We were hanging out, and then when I came in the doors, I'm not to embarrass Rowe. I came into the doors, didn't say nothing about me, none of that, and she turned around, she says, "Mike, I'm coming on your show," and I was like, "Oh, you promised? I thought you never asked." Because I really did want her. Who wouldn't want her on the show? But, going for that, it's cheesy. We're over it. And that wasn't even my MO. My MO was like, hey, build a relationship and get to know someone interesting. I haven't left the house in 2.5 months, y'all. Like, it was time for me to go out and explore. So I love this because you ladies are telling everybody, hey, you don't have to do this kind of stuff. You don't have to rely on pitch slaps and cold emails. If in fact, some of you shouldn't be doing that. Because you're out there rubbing elbows with ladies like this, that's going to be the cheat code, acceleration to getting it done, right? And you ladies are affirming that. So I tell you what, before we go into midnight, because I will keep you forever, you ladies have phenomenal. The comments prove it. We have some glitches, so thank you folks for hanging in there. I will go back on the platforms, comment to you, because I know we missed a lot. LinkedIn's not coming through, but we love you. Thank you for showing up as you always do. It's amazing. So this is a point of the show where you ladies, they're going to get mad at me if you are shy about this. They know your heart. They know what you're about. They're struggling with these issues. So Jeannie, take it away. Where can folks go, right? Tap into resources, book a call, go. All right. How can they get the help that you give?
They can find us at sixfigurebusinesscoaching.com. What's on the screen right now is my LinkedIn. You're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you are interested in help with your finances and getting those clean and clear for that clarity to make good decisions in your business, we have a free live masterclass. It's called lessmathmoremoney.com. So we'd love to see you all there.
There you go. April White, get ready. If I pull her on stage without warning, I'm in deep, you know what. So let's make sure she's ready. Look, there's a light on. Get ready, my friend. You're coming up too. You work too hard. We're not going to forget you. All right. Christina. Oh my goodness, you got a million things. But give us where we can go. Hopefully you have one center website, right? So tell us where it's at.
My jam is LinkedIn. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, that is my visibility space. Once you connect, you're going to see me in your feed. That's the way it works. And I teach other people as well how to get visible on LinkedIn. You can find me at Women Getting Visible if you are ready to speak on the stages. We have conferences coming up. And if you want to work on that inner work and figure out your story to get to the outer work, we have a visibility accountability group that you can join. And you can find that again on womengettingvisible.com.
Okay, well, there's going to be Connection City. Meet April White backstage. She has a YouTube. Seriously, need to. I can't stop connecting. I do this at the grocery store, y'all. Like, I'll be at church, like, you need to meet this guy. Like, we both go here, dude. Like, so yeah, redneck business Cupid, Marsha. That's what I call it. When nobody's
I like it.
All right. Speaking of Marsha, let's bring her up. Please do not be shy about this book. I want to get my hands on it.
I'm not going to be shy because it comes out on Tuesday. And my ask is that everybody on Tuesday or even before then, you can do it right now. Go to Amazon, go to bookshop.org, go to Barnes, wherever you buy books. The ebook is at 99 cents. You can buy a book for 99 cents and you could help me. And you know what that does? It helps the algorithms. It helps the algorithms push it out to more people. Yep. So that is why I dropped the price so low, so that everybody who wants to know about this can have access to it. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. But there's the link to the book.
Hey, we're going to share it. So make sure, and ladies, make sure we get the link so we can share it in the Hounds on platform and on the social media. We're more than happy to. All right, we'll go with Kirsten. Kirsten?
Yeah, sure. So like Jeannie said, you can find us at sixfigurebusinesscoaching.com, and that's SIX, figurebusinesscoaching.com. There's a way to book a call with me if you'd like to have a conversation and learn more about virtual assistants and outsourcing. I love to help other people be bossy.
Oh, I love that.
Jeannie, we're not going to leave you out. Would you like to add something?
Nope, she said it all.
They remind me, all right, April White, get on up here, my friend. Who do they remind? They're the female version of D. Scott and Russ Hedge. Tell
Oh,
me,
yes, they are.
I'm sitting there going, why do I love
That's a
y'all?
compliment. That's a compliment.
Thank you.
Because as soon as I thought Bert and Ernie, I thought of D. Scott because they are so complimentary. It is so amazing. So you all are absolutely amazing. April Wyatt, thank you. You have done tremendous work in the Hounds. The last you just had a 2-year anniversary. That blew me away. I was scared to tell her because I was like, I don't want her to go. That's a long time, but she loves it here. She has been instrumental friend to me, internal guide, right? Because our business is only going to grow as much as we grow as people and leaders. I mean, that's just as important, right? So you have been instrumental to me. Want to thank you personally. And tomorrow's celebration, spoiler alert, phenomenal. You, Supermom, are leading partners, promotional people. Thank you. But you have been a personal friend to me. You do so many things in the background to support people, and a lot of people don't even see it. So we're going to make you blush because it is well earned, my friend. You are phenomenal, and
It's
woman of the month.
easy. It's easy. It really is. When you have a community like this, it's very easy. The reciprocity that happens here, as you all ladies chimed in and talked about. So thank you so much, Mike.
Hey, there's no 1800 stuff going on here. All right, we walk side by side, and it's been an honor, my friend. So please take it away. You bring this up, and we're going to let you close out because this is life changing. And there's a lot of professional women juggling 8 million balls, and they want to know.
This retreat is something very near and dear to my heart, as each of you ladies shared about your passion and supporting people, whether it's scaling up or gaining VAs, all that community. That's what it is. It's all about community of support, and that's what I'm doing here with this retreat. It's having people come together that need that space to remember who they are. We're going through the world, we're going through our days, and since I'm a somatic performance coach, it's about dysregulation, right? We're detached from ourselves, we're detached from our communities, and we need that space to come back and really tune into what's happening beneath the surface. So I say lean in and listen, and we do that through embodied breath work. So it's very connected, very safe, and trauma aware. And also we not only have breath work, but we're also going out into the community. So as you see this picture here, this was taken at one of the temples in Bali in the northern shores. It's 3000 BCE. And we receive a water purification ceremony from one of the priests from a natural spring that leads into the ocean there. And this is us at the temple, just taking in the statues and just the beautiful scenery there. And that's what I love to do. I love bringing people together because that's also healing. We're missing that component in our lives. Yes, it's wonderful to be here with you lovely ladies this evening virtually, but when you get people together, that's a different level, isn't it?
Hounds retreat.
This is what my retreat's all about. So if you're curious about that, please DM me, and I can definitely give you more information. It's October 10th through the 17th, and it's all inclusive.
Thank you. And we'll have a petition so you can lead our Hounds retreat. We need to go ahead and plan that. That's going to be, and we can write it off if we do it right. All right, you got Marsha knows, but we got to work 2 hours a day or something. We'll get the
We'll get Marsha on there.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
There you
We'll
go.
get her. So thank you so much. Seriously, this has been a stellar month. I hate to see it go, but just because the month is over doesn't mean anything should change. We should amplify this, right? So professional women, hey, you go back, share these, share each other, share contacts, share links, share the episode. And men, hey, hopefully, especially after some of these other shows, I know I was enlightened, right? Because, yeah, we have professional women, wives, daughters, all kind of folks around us. So thank you all, and everyone on the panel previous. You were so open, so honest, and so impactful. I seriously get DMs. I got proof of them. And thank you. It's not about the numbers, even though it's nice to have, but the impact and the quality that's brought forth. Oh, thank you for this. It gave me the courage to do that, move forward. That's you all. So, not flattering. I'm just honored. Thank you for showing up. It's 8:00. It's 8:20. You're still here. So, if you want some committed people that are trustworthy, dadgummit, there you go. So, love you, ladies. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. You're awesome.
Yes, ma'am. It's
Thank
my
you for having
pleasure.
us.
So we will talk. I will see you. I won't keep you, but if you want to stay backstage and see if I got hair or not, you're welcome to. So we will see you all soon. See you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Share it, folks. Have a good day. It's time to wave. I like the princess wave. Let's do it. Be good. I have daughters. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.